Have you ever experienced a moment in your life where something has come to fruition? Something that you wanted has entered your world. Maybe it's a new person, like a new romantic interest. Maybe your business finally grew in the way that you've been wanting. Something materialized. It's not the whole thing, it's not all of it. It's just kind of a glimpse, right? Kind of a little piece. But as you're sitting there looking at what you have created, you feel sort of humdrum. Is that the right word? It just came to me, humdrum. I don't know. There's like this sense of not disappointment, but it can feel like disappointment. It's almost like, okay, in Fantasyland, it's electric, it's alive. Ooh, I love it, right? But then reality hits. Here it is. And your body is like, huh. Maybe there's a question rolling around like, is that it? Well, this isn't what I was expecting. Or this doesn't feel like what I expected it to feel like. Where is that happening in your life right now? That's what we're talking about today. That is the energy that inspired me to hit record and sit down with you, my friend, and have a conversation. Because so every day I'm pulling a tarot card just to deepen my understanding of each card. I've been playing with tarot for like, I don't know how long, 10 years now. Somewhere around there, between 8 and 10 years. And I always kind of come back to this beginner's mindset, always. And I actually love that. I really appreciate that because I think it just takes me deeper. And today I pulled the Seven of Pentacles. And for my friends out there who are tarot lovers, I have the Cosmic Tarot gifted to me by a wonderful friend. Thank you, Jessica. It is one of my favorite decks. And in the Cosmic Tarot in particular, okay, if you're familiar with the Rider-Waite Tarot, the character in that Seven of Pentacles already is showing us like this. Are you not happy? Like, we see growth, but you don't look happy about it, dude. What's going on? And in this Cosmic Tarot, it's like to the next level. At first glance, it is a bleak setting. Okay. You have these pentacles that are half out of the ground. One of them, some of them are chipped. He's got two pentacles in each, he's got a pentacle in each hand. And the whole like setting just looks like the land itself looks barren almost. And it looks almost like stormy and green. And just, the emotion I feel right away is disappointment, like unbearable disappointment. But, but, not everything is what it seems. Hold on, coffee sip. Here's the paradox of the imagery that the Seven of Pentacles tends to give us. Seven itself feels like the most important part of this entire message that we're talking about, that we're going to journey through today. I even started my note taking at the seven instead of talking about the card as a whole. I felt called, no, we need to look at the sevens specifically. And the sevens of the tarot represent or are like the word that comes through according to the tree of life, etc., etc. We're not going to go too deep into that stuff because I'm still learning. Honestly, I'm like, it can be an overwhelming concept for me, but I'm piecing it together as I go. But the word that is associated with the sevens of the tarot is victory. Huh, victory. But then we look at the Seven of Pentacles and it does not feel like a victory. And so I felt so called to sit down with you guys and talk about this hidden message, if you will, because it feels very hidden, which is so seven. It's so seven. Anybody a life path 7 number? I am. And let me tell you, I embrace it to the fullest extent that I can. At least I think I do. There's always more we can do, right? There's always more we can evolve into. But I love it. I absolutely love this energy. I'm life path 7 through and through. And the 7 literally just speaks to the mysterious nature of reality itself. I'll read you some of the things I wrote down here. Mystery and divinity take shape and merge as the material world. The spiritual landscape takes form. And then it goes a little bit deeper. Knowledge occurs, right? Understanding occurs, right? But with it is this sense of perseverance in adversity. And then it goes on to say, and I love this line. Oh my God, I love this line. Because I think we misunderstand conscious creation or manifestation. It says manifestation isn't easy or comfortable by nature. Okay. It's just not. Because boundaries are constantly being pushed to gain new ground. It talks about discomfort and essentially finding comfort in the process of expansion, which is uncomfortable. It talks of making a friend out of your discomfort instead of being fooled by it. Because let me ask you something. How many times in your life, I know I've done this a gazillion times, how many times have you felt that sensation of discomfort and retreated, ran, numbed, escaped, whatever? Or assumed that, oh, I'm in the wrong thing, only to later kind of regret that decision. I mean, there is, don't get me wrong, discernment. Okay, always use discernment. And by the way, I should have said this in the beginning, only take what resonates, okay? There is a sense of discomfort in the body that is somatic feedback saying this is not aligned. This is not correct for you. Or the way you're looking at this is not aligned with your truth. And that tends to feel like negative emotion. Not that any emotion is inherently negative. That's just the easy way that we as humans classify it and can recognize it. Those painful emotions like fear and doubt and stuff like that. But there's also discomfort that arises because of expansion, because of deep, deep, deep invisible growth. And that's what I want to talk about. And by the way, hello to anyone who's new. If you just stumbled in here and found me and just felt called to click, welcome to the Tapping Club. I'm actually I'm actually thinking about renaming this podcast. I'm not sure yet. That came to me before I hit record just a moment ago. So I'm going to contemplate that and see if there's a truer expression of this podcast surfacing, because she's changing. We're in a change right now. We're in a little transition slightly. But anyway, I am Hannah, and I'm so glad that you're here. I am a certified master EFT practitioner, and I consider myself an intuitive. And I love to combine in all my work, I love to bring grounded spiritual insight with the practical nervous system work, because I feel the spiritual insight is here to help us be more embodied, to feel more like ourselves. That's the end goal, is to feel at home in our bodies, to feel safe and planted in this world, because we're here. We are here because I believe, chose to be here on some level. We're here because not to escape the material world. That's no, that's not, I don't feel like that's true at all. Even though I did go through that feeling, that phase. I think we all do at some point in our spiritual journey. We were like, I'm not from here. I need to get out of here. No, no, I've just been brought more and more into myself the deeper I've gone into my spiritual journey. And so that's what this podcast is all about. And if you've been feeling disconnected from yourself, disconnected from your sense of purpose, sense of meaning, maybe like caught up in the mundane to the point of monotony, if I'm using that term correctly, then you're welcome to hang around. I hope to nourish your spirit and revive your perception a little bit to remember the beauty and to remember why you're here, to help you remember why you're here. And you're at the center of that. Your relationship to yourself is at the center of that, because your relationship to you is the foundation to everything and is the ground you walk on. And if that ground is muddy, we're sinking and we're just not, you get what I'm trying to say. So I hope this message today helps someone feel a little more like themselves, feel a little bit more at home in their body, feel a little bit more accepting of their circumstance, because what we resist persists. And ultimately, we're not resisting our circumstances. We're resisting how we feel when facing those circumstances. And that's part of why I had to hit record for this particular tarot card. Because the depiction in the card is showing us growth, right? Something has successfully manifested to some degree. And at the same time, it's showing discomfort. And I feel like I've always looked at this card from that. I've gotten stuck there. I've gotten blinded by that discomfort that it's expressing. Because it's my first thought is like, well, hold on, something grew. It looks like something grew. So like, why aren't you happy, excited, like, woohoo, celebrating? But that's just really not always the reality of the experience. Don't get me wrong. Like, maybe when something happened for you, you did feel this like burst of excitement. But a lot of the times there tends to come this like bleakness that follows that. This what now feeling. It's like, okay, where do we go next? And it can feel like, oh, I must be ungrateful or dissatisfied. And it's like, no. There is a deep alchemical process happening in the body during these moments. And I believe that with some awareness, we can work with that energy more consciously, and we can get so much more from life. There's so much more juice to be squeezed out of that lemon. So let's keep going through these little notes that I have. The 7, the energy of the 7, it's acknowledging the reality of discomfort, the reality of manifestation being uncomfortable, right? Its guidance is take baby steps, don't push too hard, easy and steady, and you will create progress. Whereas if you force and you run full steam ahead, it's just like, think of the book gave the example of deepening into a yoga pose. If you force yourself into that pose when your body's not ready, versus taking it easy and steady, injury can happen, right? Damage can be done. Or you might manifest something that you don't really actually want. And the 7 of Pentacles is sort of this like, in that bleakness of the energy of how bleak it can feel at times. It's an opportunity for reevaluation too. It's an opportunity for us to look at what's sprouting, to look at what's growing and say, okay, do I need to make adjustments here? Is this what I expected, right? Like maybe maybe in a romantic situation. Is this what I expected? I'm actually at the time of us, at the time of me recording this, something has manifested for me, sort of. Right? Again, like the little like it's just peeking out of the ground. And I'm seeing like okay, so I've had the fantasy of it, right? Which has felt ooh, delicious, electric because that's pure energy. And that fantasy for some time now has not come into reality, into our material experience of reality, which is when it starts to interact with time and contrast, duality, you know? And it's like shit gets real. And so shit just got real for me, at least a little bit. And I find like I'm interacting with this new person, and I find that they're being as much as they can at this point in the connection. They're being or they're expressing examples of things that I've imagined wanting. But then I find myself in the experience of it, I find myself being uncomfortable. I find myself tiptoeing in or looking at it sideways, looking at it this way, over analyzing, just, noticing. And I'm like, hmm. And I can feel a part of myself trying to push it away a little bit. And if I'm not aware, I'm going to do that, right? But if I practice awareness, if I get curious, then I can see, oh, I'm wanting to push this away. The urge to push this away is coming from this sense of discomfort. It's unfamiliar. This person is giving me an energy that is unfamiliar in the physical experience of my life. It's a stark contrast to what I usually experience in connection. But it's also exactly what I've been looking for, at least so far. You can't like assume all of it. We're still in the unknown here. And that's the thing about the Seven of Pentacles. We're still in the unknown. It has not fully formed. The book literally calls this Lord of Success Unfulfilled. And at first glance, that sounds like, oh, the success hasn't happened. No, 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 no. Notice that the word success is present, Lord of Success, followed by the word unfulfilled. The success is there. It's just not fulfilled all the way yet. We're still in this growth zone. And when you're in that growth zone and you don't have that material certainty, it can trigger doubt. It can trigger the nervous system literally is like, it goes into self-protection mode. And that's where we have to regulate. We have to regulate those emotions because it goes into self-protection mode. And when we enter self-protection mode in the nervous system, we tend to hear thoughts that feel like doubt, fearful thoughts. Literally, I remember I was sitting there, like I interacted with this person. We closed our interaction for the night, and I felt completely good. I felt fine. I felt chill. Like my body, the somatic feedback in my body was really good. I was like, yeah, this is nice. Okay, good night. Cool. And then a few minutes later, bloop, a little thought dropped in. And it was like, hey, this looks like this, but it's probably this. And you need to be wary. You need to be careful. And it wasn't like a hugely destabilizing thought, mostly because I don't have a lot of attachment to the situation. But it got me, and I was like, hold on. Where did that come from? Because I don't understand where that came from. It was like, and it did, at first it seemed kind of like, okay, I'm being protective, sure. But I'm also being a little fearful. So I did some self-reflecting and funny enough, oh my God, you guys, I pulled this, I got out my tarot because it's like it's my mirror. The tarot is my mirror. I use it as a reflective tool. Like I don't use it to predict things because I believe the only moment that really exists is now. And however we're responding to now is more of a prediction about the future than any tarot card. And the tarot is just going to reflect that. Oh my God, you guys, I pulled the Seven of Pentacles. I just remembered that. I pulled the Seven of Pentacles. Oh, oh, I love that. I love that so much. Wow. I guess the Seven of Pentacles was like, we're not done talking about this because this was last night, I'm pretty sure. What is time? What is time? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm reeling from this. Oh my gosh. Don't you love when that happens? When that kind of like literally seven is actually in the book, it talks about seven is the uncanny, okay, which is that sense of like that eerie sense of familiarity and unfamiliarity at the same time, like meaningful strangeness is how it defines it. And that's exactly what I'm feeling right now. Okay. Gosh, I lost my train of thought. Where was I? Oh man. Okay, we're just going to pick up where my mind's taking me. So, okay. So yeah, never mind. I remember. The Seven of Pentacles came out in response to show me where this thought came from. And literally, it is the discomfort. It is the discomfort. And I'm curious, where are you feeling that sense of discomfort in your life where something good has happened, right? Or maybe for you, maybe you're like, "Oh, this is what I thought I wanted. This should be good, but it doesn't feel right." That's valid too. And that's the beautiful part about this card is like, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. So, what is that discomfort revealing to you? And this is where it gets really fun. Not fun, really, but I think it's fun. I think it's fun. Hello, Life Path 7. So, this card is associated with Saturn and Taurus. Okay. I'll read you some of the qualities of Saturn and Taurus. And I really focused on more of the light qualities, but you can discern the shadow qualities of this from that. So some of the questions that Saturn and Taurus offers are, what can actually nourish me long term? This is like what's coming out of this evaluation state. We're asking, is what is here now, is this something that is sustainable? Is it going to nourish me like in my spirit? Because Saturn and Taurus, this is spirituality expressed through form. Like, really, that's like a deeper way to look at it. So, what can actually nourish me long term? Like, for in the example of this guy, he's reflecting an energy to me that is extraordinarily nourishing. He's recognizing and celebrating the part of me that has felt diminished in connection. And so to me, that's soul food. I'm like, whoa, I'm being fed here. Whole. Hello. Hello, daddy. I'm being fed, right? And so as I'm evaluating this, I'm uncomfortable, yes, but I'm also recognizing that regardless of this guy, regardless of where this goes with him, honestly, it really doesn't matter because he is a symbol just as I am a symbol to him. The energy. Am I going to say yes to this? Do I want to say yes to this? Yes, universe, go this way. And I literally did. Last night, I was like, universe, however this goes, yes to this. More of this, please. Thank you. So here's some more questions. What can withstand time? Because we all have experienced, oh, I want this, I got this, and now I don't really feel fulfilled by this, right? We've all experienced that, and it's not a failure, it's feedback. So that way we can make the internal adjustments. What is real beyond fantasy? And real doesn't mean the fantasy isn't real, because that's a trigger for me. Like, don't tell me my fantasies ain't real, because they real. They feel more real than the fucking material shit I see. But it's a different expression of the same thing. But when that fantasy gets filtered through material perception, it can change how it looked in our minds. That's why in a lot of manifestation teachings you hear, don't get attached to the outcome, because that outcome might not be what your fantasy portrayed it to be. It doesn't mean it's not aligned. It doesn't mean it's not correct, but it just might look different. The interface, if you will, might look different than what your mind had conjured up in the image inside of you. And you think the image is what stimulated you, and you're like, oh, I need this image. No, it was the feeling. The feeling just played and gave you some kind of idea. But now it's in form. Now it is in form. Now you really get to face the truth of what you created within yourself. That's the real mirror here. And that's where the real discomfort lies too. You're facing the truth of yourself in this symbol. What remains when excitement fades? And that question is a really big one, because even with my business, like we're still in the growth phase in my business, and me bringing tapping and tarot to other people to help them, to support them, to guide them, to help them come home to themselves, to help them be able to say yes to their deepest impulses, their deepest, most authentic impulse, to find peace in the now, to find acceptance and love within that isn't dependent on external circumstance and isn't shaken by external circumstance. Because I know the significance of that. I'm still in the growth phase of that. But when I started building, especially on my Substack, prior to this, it was not like this, but I had to ask myself that question. What remains when excitement fades? I needed to build sustainably, and that's what I've been doing. And guess what? Saturn and Taurus, it's a slow build. It's a slow growing process. It's slow. It's like snail slow. But that's not a bad thing. In our culture, we over romanticize, and I am 100% like someone who fell into this trap. We over romanticize urgency and haste and getting there now. And that can take away from the rooting process that has to happen to build something sustainable. And so I designed my business. I thought of my ideal partner from the space of what's going to nourish me in the mundane. What can I keep showing up to do because it feeds me just because? Not because I'm making money. Not because I'm important to someone or whatever. Not because I have this clout. What is going to fucking feed my soul when it's quiet? What can I do? What part of me do I want to show up and express and embody and swim in every day that can naturally carry me? That can help me feel fulfilled right now. That's what this card is really offering us the opportunity to see, to become aware of. Can I stay present after the novelty dissolves? When it's not new and fresh anymore? Can you still appreciate it? Do you still feel connected to it? Are you inspired by the monotony? Probably the wrong word to use there, but let's just go back to the mundane. Are you inspired by the mundane as much as you are like the ebbs and flows, right? Are you inspired? Are you still in love even when it's no longer new? Is there a certain rooted level of appreciation and connection to this, to yourself, to this energy that transcends the ebbs and flows of life? And really that is where I've been led in every aspect of my life is to look at that, and respond from that place. What is sustainable truly? And sustainability, I'm learning, it comes from being internally resourced, not externally resourced. That's great. That's necessary. But that can come from a hollow place inside too, that leaves you feeling unfulfilled, that leaves your life still in some sort of chaos. And that's not what you're really asking for. You're asking to be embodied. You're not asking to escape what is and who you are and the discomfort of this life. You're being asked to lean into that discomfort, because it's in that discomfort, it's in that uncertainty that you truly get to see the unconscious parts of yourself. And as you become aware of that, you get to make a conscious choice. You get to reclaim your creative power. And if you're here with me, that's what it's really about. And the evolution of this energy, of the Saturn in Taurus, it feels like the ability to create stable inner ground, independent of external fluctuation. It's this sense of having this grounded self-worth. It's not dependent on someone liking you or not. It's not dependent on how much money you have in your bank account, or how many followers or subscribers you have, or how many likes you get on your post. It's just rooted in you. It's just who I am, right? Sustainable abundance is the way that I'm making money. Let's just take it there, right? Is the way that I'm making money, is it something that's nourishing me, or is it depleting me? Is the way that I'm building this business, and I ask myself this, is the way that I'm building this, is it going to feel nourishing when the success is here? Or am I doing something to get to the success that I'm going to stop doing once I get the success? Then it's like, okay, so then what am I going to do? I'm going to end up creating a different result then, because I'm coming from a different identity. And a lot of people do that. I was trying to do that. And I'm so grateful that nothing that I did from that place ever really worked out, because it wouldn't have been sustainable. And I would have built this tower that would have ultimately had to crumble, because I couldn't sustain it, because my root system wasn't deep enough. My root system wasn't strong enough. So eventually the nutrients were going to run out. It's like spending more than you make, right? It's this sense of emotional steadiness. It doesn't mean you don't feel the highs and lows. It doesn't mean you don't experience the disappointment, the heartbreak. But what remains is you. And that looks like the difference between a relationship ending and you having an existential crisis, or you being able to accept it, pick up the pieces and move on and trust that something better is going to come. It looks like trust and slow growth, genuine patience, deep loyalty to your vision, to the state that you're entering when you're building this thing, when you are growing this. And that, my friends, comes on the edge of discomfort. I speak that from personal experience. A hard-earned lesson right there. I avoided discomfort for probably the first half of my spiritual journey. No, 3/4. 3/4 of the way. And I started going through a spiritual awakening in 2016, I believe. 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. But 2016 is when it really fucking got me. And I've been resisting the discomfort ever since. Meanwhile, being incredibly uncomfortable, right? But when I finally embraced it, and you'll hear me talk about it all the time, like when I finally fucking let myself be uncomfortable and I stopped seeing it as an enemy, that's when I started getting more patient. That's when I started trusting the process more. That's when I started surrendering to the journey. Doesn't mean I don't have fears and doubts still. Of course I do. But I know how to respond to them now with that emotional steadiness, that sense of self worth that can't be swayed anymore. My self worth used to be dependent on, can I make this successful? Will this person choose me? Now it's like, if he doesn't choose me, cool. That just, life took care of it itself. I'm glad. I don't want to waste my energy, or maybe I don't want to choose him, whatever. If this doesn't work, okay, then I get to reevaluate and decide, is there another way I want to do this? Or is this just not right for me in general? I recently had to do that with the tapping club as a whole. I came into this space where I just suddenly felt so unfulfilled. And it's not because nothing was happening. I mean, I'm steadily growing. Slow and steady wins the race, right? I'm steadily growing on there. But I just suddenly hit this wall of like, okay, I see it forming. And the things that I really want to manifest aren't here yet, but that's okay. I see the seeds, like I can feel the seeds kind of sprouting under the ground. And I had to reevaluate. Because something in me was like, I'm feeling uncomfortable, number one, with the growth. Number two, I'm feeling this sense of dissatisfaction. And I had to ask myself these questions. And that's actually what brought me to bringing the tarot back in. And it wasn't like ooh, maybe let me add the tarot and see how that feels. No, I just leaned in to the discomfort and it carried me to clarity. It carried me to it. And that actually is exactly why the tapping club is about tapping at the core. Because tapping is that tool. I'm not saying it's the end all be all for everybody. And I'm not saying it's the tool that trumps all tools. I mean, for me, it has through experience. But I've also had valuable experiences from deep meditations as well. It's just, for me, that's not as sustainable as tapping, because tapping, it's it's a big part of it's the core of what I'm doing, because it's so accessible and you can do it anywhere, any place, anytime, anyhow, like pretty much. The only time you really can't do it is like if you need 10 and 2 on your steering wheel. Like, I feel like that's about it. Otherwise, you can wipe your ass while tapping. I do it sometimes. You can fucking be on the phone while tapping. I do that sometimes. You can be in a difficult conversation while tapping. I do that sometimes. You can be dancing and tapping. I just did that yesterday. I was dancing and tapping at the same time because I was angry dancing. I was angry about something, and I'm sore to actually hurt myself. I have like a kink in my neck now because I was aggressively dancing so much. I just had to get the energy out. But I was tapping at the same time. Whoa, something just fell. That was random. Okay. We're moving things with our minds over here, people. But that's where this energy right here, this Seven of Pentacles energy, is like the perfect place to tap. If you have not tapped before, this is the invitation. This is the moment. Because let me back up. Let me not get ahead of myself. This energy right here, if we approach it unconsciously and through inner resistance, fighting it, and you can tell you're fighting it because your thoughts are just like, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. When really nothing's wrong. Actually, something's going really right. Meaning you are having an effect. Okay? Your inner state is affecting reality at the fucking root system. Okay? The nervous system responds to unfamiliarity as a red flag. It flags it as like, this isn't safe. This isn't safe. And it puts you in self-protection mode, like we talked about earlier. Tapping is the one, like, to me, the easiest tool, the easiest fucking tool you can use. When you tap, you are creating physiological safety in your body. Okay? You are telling your body through that movement and through working with your meridian system in your body, hey, we're safe. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, this is uncomfortable. It's okay. And another reason why I am absolutely obsessed with tapping is because you don't have to put down the negative thoughts that you're wrestling with. You walk right the fuck into them while you're tapping. And you don't have to force yourself to think differently. You don't have to force anything to be different. You get to meet yourself exactly where you are. And that is why so many people stay in the loop and stay afraid and don't actually progress in their healing journey, because they're struggling to face and accept what they're feeling. They think that what they're feeling is the problem, but really what you're feeling, that is feedback. That is your body guiding you. It's telling you something. And tapping, and well, let me back up. When you're in that activated state in your nervous system, your prefrontal cortex, your big daddy thinker, the part of you that can access the higher perspective, it's the energy is being pulled out from there. And it's going into the emotional part of yourself, the survival self, the survival part of yourself. Your energy is being kind of like you're about to run from a tiger type shit. And it doesn't matter what the cause is. It can be the smallest little thing, and then that you're activated and it's like you're running from a tiger, essentially. Even though you're just sitting on your bed, watching a TV show, having a conversation with somebody or whatever. You're running from a fucking tiger in your energy. And the tapping, it essentially, if you do it long enough, and sometimes it doesn't take long at all. I've done this and within minutes, I'm like, I didn't even realize I'm in a different state. I'm like, whoa, okay. I feel night and day different. Sometimes it takes time, and sometimes it just helps me accept what is, so that way the emotion can be present, the discomfort, without me fighting it. It doesn't go away. It's just now I can be present with it without resistance. And that's what allows the process to flow, and the emotion, it allows it to complete its cycle. So the tapping helps your nervous system understand that you're safe in this moment. You're safe in this new territory, in this new stuff, this new thing, this new connection, this new creative project that's challenging you to grow, right? This new life experience. The tapping says, I'm safe. I've got this. And as you tap through that emotional tension, your body's processing it. It's metabolizing it instead of looping it and looping it and looping it. Because when we get in our heads, instead of processing the feeling, the thoughts keep us in the loop. And a lot of the times we end up repressing those emotions, and they just linger in our bodies, wreaking havoc on our system. Because these are chemicals in our bodies, guys. This isn't just this, it's not just this invisible stuff. Like your emotions are coming from hormones, from like hormonal concoctions or whatever. And, you know, any experts that listen to me, you're welcome to correct my terminology if need be. But I hope you get the gist of what I'm saying. There's a chemical process happening in your body when you're having an emotion. When you're having a thought, there's a chemical process following that thought. And that thought is typically following a chemical process. It's a big old loop. And so the tapping resolves that emotional tension in the moment that you're experiencing it. And that's the best time to do it, is when it's hot and heavy in there. Like if you or someone close to me, you'll see me tapping probably every day at some point. Because I'm not willing to let the emotion get stuck in my body. I understand that tapping is my way of saying, body, I see you, I hear you, I'm with you, and I support you in this because you are supporting me with this. And this is my way of laying down my resistance, surrendering to the moment, and trusting myself. And that right there, that little process is where you really figure out what you're made of. And you realize that all the urgency, all the fear, all the stuff, all the dissatisfaction, all the lack of fulfillment, all the meh, like all the negative thinking and worrying, that's when you start to realize like that was just you in resistance to how you felt. That wasn't your truth. Like that wisdom bubbles up to the surface as you release the emotional tension through tapping. You realize that on your own, not just hearing it from somebody like me. You realize it on your own. You feel it in your body for yourself. Because how many spiritual insights, how many beautiful little things have you learned along the way that you just, it sounds good, it feels good for a moment, but then like it just doesn't, you can't find a placement for it in your life. There's not a landing place in your body. That's because there's emotional tension blocking that awareness within you. It's projected outward. So you're seeing it out here, you're hearing it out here, but it's kind of just noise. But when you tap through the emotional tension, that what was noise, what seemed like it wasn't yours, what seemed like, oh, I wish I could think that way, suddenly you're thinking that way. And it was yours all along. And you realize, oh my God, I always felt that way. I just didn't see it because I was stressed, because I was caught in the negative thinking, because I didn't understand the emotion I was feeling. I thought something was wrong. And really, I just needed to like be with it. I just needed to be with that discomfort. That's where your true self gets to emerge, is in the fire of that discomfort. And that's why I do the work that I do. That's why I do sessions. That's why I tap with people, because it's hard. It's a difficult, uncomfortable place to be in. And it's easy to get swallowed up by the tension and to just fall back into the old pattern. It took me a long time, a long, long time on my own. I did this on my own. I didn't have the funds to hire someone majority of the time to work with. But I felt like that was by design, because I really needed to understand the mechanics of this so I could be that guide for someone who can't afford it, who can. I needed to immerse myself in the depth of that discomfort and pain so I could find and I literally blindly just felt my way out. But it all ended up making sense in the end. And that's why I do one-on-one work. Because not everybody is meant to do it that way. Some people have other shit that they've got to do. And that is also by design. That's why some of us out here exist. To be that guide. To be like the lantern in the dark forest coming back through. Like, yo, I created a path. Let's go. I got you. Let's walk this. You got this. So, okay. Let me go back to my notes here. And this is, I wrote this down and I knew the moment I wrote this down, I had to say this to somebody. Slowness is not failure. Foundations that can hold weight are developing. That's the message there. Somebody's going to breathe a sigh of relief. Somebody's body is going to break and they're going to cry and they're going to understand. They're going to finally be able to accept they are right where they are supposed to be. Just from that right there. Slowness is not failure. Foundations that can hold weight are developing. And nature shows us this every day. Okay. I'm reading my notes for the entirety of the Seven of Pentacles here. This discomfort that the card depicts, it's significant and it's sacred. And I believe that is why the discomfort is captured. Not the excitement of, oh, there's something there. No, the discomfort of there being something there. Because that discomfort, when we don't get fooled by it, is the sensation of structure being built in real time and the nervous system acclimating. And again, that's why we tap. For some of you, this is an invitation to start a tapping journey, a daily tapping journey. So that way you can help your body acclimate to what you're building. And, you know, a lot of this, the Seven of Pentacles does talk about there is a visible sign of success, like something has physically materialized. But before that, and even from this point forward, there's invisible growth happening. That means there's no proof a lot of the time that something's happening, except for a feeling here and there, a synchronicity here and there. It's all very, very vague. It's all very mysterious. It's not grounded in certainty. And that in and of itself is uncomfortable, but that's a part of the building process. And that's why tapping is so important to me personally, because it helps us keep a level head when the conditioning of our past and even the people around us reflecting that conditioning to us are like, well, maybe it's not working, maybe this or that. I remember I was already a couple months into growing my Substack. And all I had to show for my goals being accomplished was, number one, I feel beyond trusting that it's going to work out, even though I have moments of doubt. I just feel this sense of this feels right, right? It was really just that simple. This feels right. This feels sustainable. That was the big part of it. And then a little bit of growth. I was like 3 months in. I was like 3 months in. And someone around me was like, well, maybe if it's not working, you need to go find something else. Maybe you just need to leave this behind. And I was like, I literally got like a little angry. I got protective. And I was like, whoa, hold on. Just because something's not working in 3 months' time, I need to give up on it? You think I should give up on this? Just abandon the vision because there's not immediate results? That kind of thinking is outcome driven. It is outcome focused. It is projecting satisfaction onto an outcome. When for me, the vision itself, the idea itself, the process of building it itself, because I've built it from these questions of sustainability versus just getting something. It's more like being someone versus getting something. That all of that, those little details, they are fulfilling to me as much as the outcome is going to be fulfilling to me, if not more, because when the outcome finally arrives, right? When the fully booked finally happens, because that's the big material goal. Guess what? Fucking reality is going to set in. Oh, wow. Now there's more responsibility. Oh, shit. I have to be on for these lovely people, which I want to be. But my nervous system, not being used to being on to that extent that I'm manifesting, is going to have to adjust. It's going to have to acclimate. It's going to have a reality check. And I'm going to have to sit in that discomfort of the actual reality of it. Because now it's not just the delicious energy of it. It's not the pure, undiluted, unfiltered energy, the pure essence. That's where the deliciousness comes from. That's where the joy, the fulfillment, the woo comes from, right? The reality of it is a lot bleaker. It's denser, and that's not a bad thing. It's not an either or. It is different expressions of the same thing. And it's our job to be present with that discomfort. Because when you do, you deepen into it, you root into it, and then it becomes a different kind of pleasure. It transforms. It's the same pleasure, but it's experienced in like a deeper way, in a grounded way. And it's just different. It's just different. So here are some questions that come up during this acclimating process, during this unknown uncertainty process. Can you stay in your body while you don't know? Can I stay in my body? Can I stay connected to the feeling, to the truth of why I want the thing in the first place, the true essence of it when it comes to a relationship? While I don't know if this person's the one I've been manifesting, while I don't know if this is going to continue being this good, while I don't know all these little details, right? Or can I stay in my body in the pleasure of the idea, in the pleasure of the process? Can I stay with myself while I don't know when that calendar is going to be full of beautiful clients? Can I stay? And staying, that just looks like not surrendering to the doubt, not giving in and being like, well, I guess it's not working. Well, I guess I'm a failure. Well, I guess I better figure out something because I don't know if this is going to happen in time. Can you stay with yourself in the unknown? Like for me, what that looks like for me in practice. I do a lot of conscious thinking, and it's taken me a lot of tapping to get to the point where I can do that without profound inner resistance. Lordy. Now I can finally navigate my thoughts relatively consciously for the most part. I'm not perfect at it. I don't even think we can ever see every thought we're thinking, but in the moment when you're present enough, you can catch a lot of stuff. Like you can at least have like a radar on, right? Your body can work with you to say, "Hey, we're thinking about things that aren't helpful now. We're looking at things from an unproductive perspective in a way that's going to sabotage what we've been building. So let's check in on that and let's tap on it. Let's release that emotional tension that's locking us into that and choose differently," right? So staying for me looks like, let's say in money. I literally just did this. I have a bill coming up. It's a relatively big bill for me. And normally, like the past couple of years when I've had this bill, it's been a little bit of a doozy to kind of account for it. And I tend to, and I felt the impulse to fall into fear. Because with money, I had a burp, confirmation burp. With money, it's especially easy. Like we are so conditioned. I don't even want to get into it right now, but like we are so conditioned to just like put money on the pedestal as like money is fucking God to a lot of us in a sense. And so when I would look at my bank account, I would feel like and see like, well, I might not have enough money. And that would trigger the onslaught of fear and doubt and all this stuff. And I would start to spiral and feel like, oh, I got to figure this out. Go into force mode, right? Forcing things instead of flowing and trusting. And thankfully, I arrived at the point in the tapping. Again, the tapping helped because resolving that emotional tension gave me access to just enough clarity so I could make a conscious choice and choose differently, choose to respond differently. Because before I would just fall into this and I couldn't really help it. I didn't really know what to do about it. And I arrived at this moment where I was feeling that way. I was feeling that doubt and I was feeling like, I got to figure out something. I got to figure out something because I don't know if this is going to work in time, or I don't know if I'm going to play my cards right so that way I can make sure I have what I need. And I've always moved from that place and I always ended up struggling to have what I need. Okay, this is going to really activate somebody. You're going to feel it. But this time, I responded differently. And I said, I tapped while doing this too. I said, even though I'm afraid that I'm not going to have enough money, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And as I calmed down, as I brought my body into a relaxed state, as I resolved the tension, because that's what tapping does, you can tell it's working because you start to, even if the emotion doesn't go away fully, you just start to feel more grounded. You start to feel more centered. And your body, your nervous system noticeably relaxes. It kind of leaves that activation state from the tapping. And when you do that, that's when you can really, that's when you have that little gap. And you have that conscious window. And I said, even though I can't see that I have the money that I need, I'm going to choose to be uncomfortable and decide that I do. And I decided that I did. I said, I have the money. And because of all the tapping I do, I didn't have a ton of inner resistance to that. But let me tell you, before I did regular tapping, I couldn't do that to save my life. I just could not. I could not do that. I could not think that kind of thought without my body shutting me down so viciously that I would regret ever even trying to think that thought. The tapping is what healed that for me. It's what gave me my power back over my mind. And so I just kept saying every day, I have the money I need. 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 I can't see it. I don't know how I'm going to have the money. I don't know when. I'm just going to trust that it's going to work out somehow, some way. And then suddenly, one day, not too long ago, something said, hey, we haven't looked at our bank account in a while because we've been so in our mind, like changing the way we're thinking. Because looking at my bank account would be a trigger. And so I looked at my bank account and guess what? I realized I have the money I need. And what's funny about that, and here's the thing, here's where it's like so connected and so subconscious. Me deciding that, me putting my attention on that story, on that narrative, and allowing myself to feel it by resolving the tension with tapping, it changed my behavior. Suddenly, I stopped buying things that I really didn't need to be buying. And it wasn't a painful thing. It was just a natural, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm good. And then some other things worked out. Money came in other ways, which freed up money here and freed up money there. And it accumulated just enough in a short period of time. It accumulated just enough so I have what I need and then some. And I remember feeling like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. And that can seem so simple on the surface. I mean, it really is. But when you're operating from scarcity and that's all you've experienced, that's a profound moment because then you see your impact. You see it. You fucking see, whoa, I caused that. And I didn't have to fight to get there. I didn't have to lose myself. I didn't have to contort in any kind of fucking stupid way that I don't want to. I didn't have to do any of that shit. I just trusted. I just worked with myself. I worked with my energy and my energy worked with me. And my body subconsciously instructed me on how to fulfill that in the most aligned, direct path of least resistance for me in that moment. And it worked. And that's really how manifestation works. Honestly, that's manifestation in a nutshell. At least one way to do it. I mean, I feel like there's probably many ways to do it. But okay. And see, look, then my mind goes blank. So let's go back to the notebook. Okay. Can you remain grounded? Back to our questions. Can you remain grounded without gripping or escaping? Where are you gripping and escaping in your world? I was doing that big time. I was taking, I love weed. I love it. I absolutely love cannabis. I love its medicinal qualities. I love that it's a safe, at least I experience it this way, that it's a safe high. It's a safe way to experience reality through a different lens, if you will. But I didn't realize how much I was using it to escape. I didn't realize I was escaping because it was such a pleasure. Because I'm the kind of person, I love edibles. I love edibles more than I love smoking. And I love the intensity of it. I love that it lasts a long time. I just love it. I love testing limits with edibles. But but it's not a sustainable thing to do. It's just not sustainable. And that part of me that wanted sustainability really had to reevaluate that. But I also realized I'm doing this so much that I can't even see what discomfort I'm avoiding. I wasn't doing it to consciously. I wasn't doing it to avoid discomfort. I mean, yeah, there was like a time here and there where I'd be like, you know what, I'm just going to take an edible. I don't want to deal with this. But majority of the time, I just in my body, I was excited about that feeling, that sensation of it creeping in, and like I genuinely enjoy that. But subconsciously, I was escaping discomfort, and I realized that because a part of this whole process, a part of me, a part of like where my body helped me save money was I stopped desiring it. Like I started thinking different thoughts. Before I stopped doing it, I started thinking different thoughts. Like I remember receiving a thought that said, I'm curious about being sober. Just curious. Because it's not something I'm very familiar with. I'm not like a person who gets drunk and high to that extent all the time, but I do love having a beer. I do love taking an edible. But I was like, I wonder what it was just like this natural curiosity arising. Like, I wonder what sobriety is actually like. Like genuine sobriety, like not doing anything, like free ball in life. Why, just doing it, just doing it all the way. But I never actually committed to it, really. Not without some like crazy pressure to do so. And so I just started thinking those. I started playing with that thought, like, okay, what if I'm the type of person who likes to be sober? What's that? What does that look like? I didn't make myself quit, but suddenly I just woke up one day and I was like, all right, I'm not doing it anymore. I thought it was going to be much harder than that, but it wasn't because I approached it from the energy first, from the identity first, instead of forcing the behavior. And a lot of times we force behavior without the identity, and that's why it's hard and that's why it fails a lot of the time because it's not embodied. So I embodied it first, and then it just became a natural expression. And so when I quit, and it hasn't been that long, honestly. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and say, oh, I've been done years later. No, fuck no. Like, I'm like a couple weeks in. But I feel great, honestly. I feel great. But I've noticed. Here's where I realized I was escaping. And this is an invitation for you to do some reflection for yourself. I was escaping because oh my God, the emotional swings, holy shit. The emotional swings I've been feeling the past couple weeks. And I was like, wow, this is what I would have been feeling had I not taken that edible. And I'm so grateful for it. Because guess what? More patience is coming out of that. More embodiment is coming out of that. More of me is coming out of that. I don't know if I'm going to stay sober forever. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know. There might come a period of time in my life where I'm like, let's get high, baby. I don't know. I'm not putting pressure on that. But right now, I'm still playing with this sober identity and I'm enjoying it. I really am. So, where can you remain grounded without gripping or escaping? That's what this energy is really asking of you. This period that you're in, that's the invitation. That's what this discomfort is initiating you into. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about sitting in the fire of the discomfort, like the phoenix and then rising, right? That's what this is. You have to be able to sit in that discomfort because that is you being initiated into your next self, to your true self. And it's burning away. It hurts because it's burning away those old identities. And that's why tapping is such a fucking godsend. Can you tolerate slow unfolding without collapsing into impatience and fantasy? That's been the hardest one for me. Can you tolerate slow unfolding without collapsing into impatience and fantasy? Because this message is for someone who is in a slow growth phase. Right there with me, buddy. Hello, high five. You're not alone. You can make it through. You can do this. It's forming. There's an identity developing. You're not just calling in for me. I'm not just calling in new clients. I'm not just calling in more money, more ease in my life. I'm developing an identity. That's hard work. In fact, I have a very firm belief that that is what hard work is actually supposed to be. I don't believe that the work we do out here is supposed to be inherently hard. And that doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be doing a physically intensive job, but it can feed your fucking soul if it's what's aligned for you, if it's coming from an embodied place. I genuinely believe that the work some of us do for a living is hard because we are not embodied. Because we are not in touch with our true selves. We're avoiding the inner discomfort. Meanwhile, being uncomfortable. It's such a paradox. It's so wild. And my mind went blank. For any human designers, I blame my open head Anja. Is that Anja? Head Anja? Is that what it's called? Either way. My head wide open. Wide open, baby. She comes in and out, in and out. But okay. This process, right, that the Seven of Pentacles is talking about. This is what staying looks like while nothing is truly confirmed yet. And it's uncomfortable because that discomfort is sacred. It's sacred. There's an internal process happening Our job is to trust it and to honor it and to work with it because something durable is forming underneath the surface. But there is a question here, and this is probably where we're going to wrap it up. There is a question here. As you are looking at what is now, just like I did not too long ago with the tapping club, I had to reevaluate. I had to ask myself, is what I'm doing going to be sustainable for me? Is it truly aligned with me, or am I performing somewhere? Am I contorting myself in some way that I'm going to end up not wanting to do anymore when I finally arrive at the outcome I'm chasing, right? How can I be more present and embodied in this process? Like, how can I derive joy from what is? And so you're being asked, my friend, where in this whole thing are you seeing that this isn't aligned? I need to reevaluate. This isn't right for me, or this is right for me, and I'm just uncomfortable. So what thoughts or stories do you maybe need to let go of now? What thoughts and stories? It's like just like talking to this new friend. I am very aware, just because I'm paying attention to the somatic sensations, to the feelings I'm getting in my body. I have become aware of like old thought patterns, and I have to let those go. Like, for instance, I'll get a thought like, or I notice, not a thought, but I notice that I'm being hyper vigilant about, or I'm meaning making about when he texts me back or whatever. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. What is that? And I just become aware of it. And I've done this. I've started getting really good at this thing where I kind of put the thought, it's hard to explain, but I kind of toss the thought out of my brain into the air in front of me, like as if it's in the sky. And I just feel it floating by. And I'm like, okay, I'm letting that go because that thought is just not aligned with my true self. It's not aligned with the truth of the moment either. So, what needs to be adjusted here within you, within what you're thinking, feeling, doing? Can you do something better, quicker, or in a more efficient way? Can you think a more productive thought? Can you tell yourself a more embodied story? Slow and steady, small adjustments. You don't have to rip it all out. Small adjustments. Make one adjustment and then get the feedback from your body, and then make another adjustment if need be, or settle in. But trust yourself. And the message also says more will evolve from this. You will get more information. Okay. So for anybody who's really just like overwhelmed by the uncertainty, number one, tap, tap through that. It's okay. The uncertainty, that's just a part of life. There is going to be more information to come. So if it's not clear right now for you, tap to resolve the emotional tension, book a session with me, and we can do it together if you feel called to. But either way, just be patient. Be patient because more information is on the horizon here. And don't fret if this is what you want. If you're like, oh, this is what I want, but you are not feeling joyful about it, because and this is the final message I'm going to leave you guys with. The deeper, deeper, deeper message of the Seven of Pentacles, the hidden layer here that I'm going to bring to the forefront is that your joy was never in the thing, in the symbol, in the money, in the client, in the success, in the partner. Your joy was never there. And that's why a lot of the times when it starts to manifest, we notice that joy is not there, or that joy starts to diminish because we were projecting it onto it, and that's not sustainable. Your sustainability comes in realizing the joy was always within me. And this thing that I think makes me feel joyful is actually an expression of my joy, my inherent joy, or whatever emotion you want to put there. Security, peace, ease, whatever. This is an expression of that. This is not the cause of that. It's not the source of it. So when I look at this thing, I might not always feel the joy because I am the source of the joy. Does that make sense to you? So I invite you to ask any questions, comment it, or message me on Substack or email me, Hannah, no H at the end, at thetapping.club. You're welcome to email me. I'd love to hear from you because, I'll tell you, more than anything, I want to do this work because I long for deep connection. I long for it. It's something I'm manifesting. It's something that I'm trusting to come into fruition. I crave intimate, deep connection. I crave to understand people. I crave to see them. There's something about that nourishes my soul. It's just like candy. It's delicious. Like good for you candy, if there is such a thing. Chocolate hummus and strawberries. That's what it is. I'm being silly. But no, I value deep connection, and I think it's such a focus for me now, and I'm so grateful I've found the kind of work that I do now because it's feeding something that has always felt starved in my life. Not that the connections I have in my family and whatnot aren't meaningful, but there's a layer missing for me. And that's really the deepest motivator for me. It's like, ooh, I get to really be this part of me because I know the value of it. And plus that, it just feels good. That right there's a message in and of itself. If it feels good, trust it. Really trust it. But all right, my friends, I love you dearly. I thank you for spending this time with me and walking through the journey of the Seven of Pentacles with me today. I look forward to sharing more of this with you. I'm going to let it flow naturally. And I invite you again to tap. Take up a daily tapping practice. It doesn't have to be anything rigid. Honor your energy, honor your flow, your pace, your life as it is now. And slip it in there where you need it most. Like I used to cry after I left my corporate job. I used to cry on the way into work and I'd cry on the way out of work because I was so depleted in my spirit. Had I had tapping then, I can't tell you what that would have looked like, but I definitely wouldn't have felt so depressed. I wouldn't have thought about, I've never been truly suicidal, but I have always met the understanding of why people can be. And I'm grateful that I've never gone further than that. But I have deep compassion for people who feel that way. And I think that tapping is a missing link for somebody because it's a way to work with your body right where you are, to meet yourself with the love and compassion that you are craving and to give it to yourself fully and to realize you never needed anything from anything out here. You were always the source. It was always within you. And that's the message I'm leaving behind for the world. But okay, my friends, I will have my the link to book with me if you feel so called to. It will be there and we can do this work together. And I will also leave at least one EFT. I do EFT audios that you can download and start using right away. It's like just a quick entry into tapping and just to have that support in your pocket in a way that can just, meet you where you are right now. So you don't have to wait for a session, or maybe a session just doesn't resonate, but you want support. It's a simple, easy entry point into this world. And so I'm going to leave my audio for Feel Safe Again. That one's really good. Really, really good. Oh my gosh. It felt so good recording it too. And if I see anything else that I think might be helpful, I'll drop it down below as well. So you can use it. But otherwise, I love you guys. I'll see you on Substack. We'll go live Fridays to tap and talk tarot, just kind of like we are now. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed and make sure you share this with someone who needs it. This is the longest outro ever, right? Okay, love you guys. Have a good one. Mwah.